Hello, SAG. My name's Fred Topel. I'm an entertainment journalist, and I'll be leading this conversation. Thanks for staying to meet the cast of Snatch, and let me introduce them for you. First, Rupert Grint, Luke Pasqualino, Dougray Scott, Phoebe Dynevor, Juliet Aubrey, Lucien Laviscount, and Tamer Hassan. Welcome. So, season 1 of Snatch and the movie of Snatch were such London stories. Are you all in unfamiliar territory shooting this season in Spain?
I wouldn't say so. Tamer's been to Spain a few times.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, no, I've been to Spain a few times. I've shot in Spain before, so it wasn't native for me, but for the guys that don't know, yeah.
It was beautiful to film in Spain, to be honest with you. A big change from Manchester, which was a bit cold and wet. But saying that, I think Spain had, more rain than it's had in the past 70 years. In the months I was filming, so we went for the Spain for the sunshine, and we got the doom and gloom of Manchester.
We also got to work with the best crew. We loved the Spanish crew. They were awesome. It was a lot of fun.
And we did get to learn a bit of Spanish as well.
A little bit.
Sí.
Claro.
Well, what is it?
Fuego.
What does it do for the story and your characters to be starting over again from square one in this unfamiliar territory?
Yeah, I think that was something that was quite important for Alex. For us to lose everything as soon as we got to Spain, so we started completely a new slate. Yeah. And not get too comfortable. It would have been quite boring, I think, of just spending 10 million euros in Spain. So yeah,
sounds horrible.
Yeah. So we lose all the money, so we have to start again, and we kind of have this plan to go straight, which doesn't really last that long.
As you see, I can't really remember what happens in episode 1.
No.
I haven't seen it yet, but yeah. I think there's, in order for them to lose anything, I think there's much more drama and more story to come from people that have nothing rather than people that have everything. So I think the drama comes from, them sort of being with their back against the ropes for a lot of it. So I think it's
More gangsters. There's some of the guys that come in to do some of the guest episodes were absolutely phenomenal. So I think that just added a whole new flair to it, a whole new dimension. So that was really special to kind of bring on the Spanish. Throw ourselves into Spain with Spanish actors who are just phenomenal, which...
I was just happy to be away from the wife and kids for 6 months. Thought I'd break it up a little bit for you,
Well, Luke, Albert is the one out of this group who most wants to go straight. Is that a fun dynamic to play in a show like Snatch, where crime is inevitable, to be the guy who's really insisting on trying to go straight?
Yeah, I think even Albert is trying to go straight. I think even he deep down really knows that it's only so long that going straight can last. And with the help of his trusty compadres over there, they're sort of trying to steer him back on the... I think Rupert says in the first episode, Charlie says in the first episode, sometimes it's a crooked path that finally goes straight. So I think, even though he does inevitably want to go straight in the end, I think he knows deep down that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, as they say. But yeah.
Most of you have some previous television experience internationally or here. Has there been a difference working on a streaming show than some of the broadcast or cable shows you've been parts of before?
It's been amazing to work with Crackle. Sorry, Dougray.
I personally I enjoy working on cable shows, and I kind of think Crackle is a cable show, because you sort of, the scripts and the characters are sort of more sort of multi-layered, and there's some fantastic shows on network in America that I've worked on them, and I've had a great time. But you kind of get more time to build character. It does not seem to have to be a different story every week, so you have 10 episodes to build a plot, to introduce the audience to the characters, those who perhaps haven't seen the first season. And I think that the writing can be a bit more risky. But and I've done cable in America as well as network, and I had a great time doing this in Spain.
How much time do you get with the scripts to prepare for each episode?
Not long at all.
They get
Maybe
written
in
the day
makeup.
before normally, don't they?
Delivered in makeup.
With pink
No,
and
that's,
yellow
that's a
pages.
bit unfair, I have to say. Occasionally,
Far off the
keeps us
mark,
on our
is it?
feet.
I think with TV as well, especially with something that shoots. We're shooting a 10-episode series in 5 months. It's shooting 10-hour days. We don't really get much time to sort of play with the material as much as we'd like to on the day. When you've got everybody together and you get the scene on its feet. But I think with having with TV, the scripts are constantly evolving. They're constantly changing. There's rewrites and pink pages and stuff, so trying to keep on top of it all can sometimes be a bit overwhelming. Would you agree? But it's just sort of one of those things that you just got to sort of grit your teeth and get through it, and just try and make the best out of the situation that you have, really. And we had fun doing it. You sort of once you get used to the pace, I think it's much easier to handle. Would you agree?
So over there, you get left behind. Right?
You know the characters because you've obviously had one season to understand your character. So what you're faced with the scene is like, what is the scene about? What's your character trying to do in the scene? And ideally, you'd love a bit of time to rehearse it and to play around with it and maybe get together before with the actors. But that's not always possible. But at least you've got a head start because everyone knows who their characters are. So you're not trying to figure out that aspect of it.
Because we're all away together, all at the same time, we get more of a chance to chat and work on things outside, away from the set. And also, Alex Durakov's very good at honing things right down to the last minute, little changes which all keep us on our feet and make it more exciting.
I guess also not being scared of change. I know that some people love to have the scripts absolutely set a few days before, and they're terrified of change. I think that if it's better, then it's worth it, that's always been my philosophy. I've never been scared of scenes that change even at the last second. If it makes it better, then fantastic.
It's good that we also get to play around with it on set. It's kind of part of the fun of being these characters that we know so well and working with each other for some time now. It's kind of go on set and to play with the lines, and we get the opportunity to do that, so it makes life
No, we don't. He told us off for changing the lines.
And if it isn't better, like Dougray said, you don't want to be standing in front of Dougray Scott if he doesn't like it.
If I what?
You don't like it.
Did you at least get some rehearsal for the pilot?
No.
No, but I think it kind of works for the show, isn't it? Because a lot of it is kind of found in the moment, and we're playing characters that are kind of out of their depth, so a lot of it is kind of quite spontaneous. We never really know what's coming around the corner. So
And the rehearsals they're more about sort of character, talking about the characters than the actual how we're going to play it, and line by line rehearsals, it's more about general discussions about the characters, really.
Yeah.
Well, what challenging scenes do each of you have coming up this season?
I had to dance. And you saw that? Okay, so
Brilliant.
it kind of dawned on me days before we were doing that scene that I actually don't know how young people move. So I had to YouTube it, and I learned a few things from YouTube. But yeah, that was quite a challenge to kind of make it look natural. I mean, Charlie, you can kind of get away with anything, but that was quite hard.
Yeah. For me, it was watching Rupert trying to dance. That was where my challenges came into play. Dougray?
For me, it was actually dragging Rupert out of the sea at 7 o'clock in the morning when it was freezing cold, and they keep saying to him, go out a bit more, Rupert, go out a bit more. And the fear on his face, I said, Rupert,
I can't swim.
Can you swim? He went, no. I was like, okay, let's go back in, come on.
You never mentioned that to anyone, though. Until we got there on the day. I was like,
his face said it all.
I didn't think that would actually be in the sea. I thought it would be, I don't know.
Gone are the days of CGI from Harry Potter, son. Sorry, mate.
And I've seen a little bit of ahead. Phoebe and Juliet, you team up and get into some danger, don't you?
Yes, we did. For me, I loved that part of the show because we got to kick some ass together, have a little girl power moment. Yeah, we loved that, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun bonding whilst in bondage and
You got captured.
shooting guns and running around in high heels and jumping out of windows and throwing things around. It was good fun.
Well, this is such a fast-paced show. How fast-paced is the shooting when you're actually putting the scenes together?
Fast. Yeah, really fast. It's like now, let's do it. So, yeah, isn't it? It's just like non-stop. Sorry, I meant to be talking into the mic. I do apologise. But yeah, it's literally non-stop, but you don't get a lot of time to rehearse fights and stuff. So, as Juliet said, the great thing is that we're all together. So we're all staying away from our families so we can get together and sort of prepare ourselves.
Look out for each other and watch each other's backs.
With the guns.
Our fights were very much on the spot. I had to shoot a gun. We were doing night shoots and we were really running behind, and I think we had like 5 minutes to shoot a gun, and I had to learn pretty quickly.
You had to learn how to drive a car pretty quickly too.
Yeah,
and
and drive a car off a cliff almost, which is also interesting. They know how to keep you on your toes. Part of the
How well do each of you feel you know your characters now that you've spent 2 seasons with them?
I mean, I've definitely got to know Albert, and as Dougray said earlier, you know, we've done season 1, so we've sort of set the characters up a little bit. So you get season 2, you get more time to play, and obviously, as Alex has seen our sort of performances evolve over season 1, he's sort of writing specifically for us as actors now as well, because he's sort of got an idea of how we're going to be playing our characters. So, like as a team, they do evolve, and you do feel more comfortable with it. But I still feel, for me personally, there's more to Albert to find out, and I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say we're still learning about our characters.
Yeah, I mean, you're always kind of, with the benefit of TV, where you have the time, I think, to kind of stretch and flesh out a character. I think you do kind of learn new things about them, and that's what kind of the interesting thing about TV that I'm really enjoying.
When you saw season 1 all put together with the stylized editing and everything, did that inform the way you approached season 2 now that you know what it looks like as a finished product?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I mean, it's definitely a specific style. It's a style I've never performed to because it's so fast paced. So I think you definitely bring some of that with you in the second series, knowing how kind of the shots work, and yeah.
Looking back on season 1, what were some of the most challenging scenes or your favorite moments for your characters?
Season 1.
We need buzzers. We need buzzers. Like, who's going to go first? 'Cause we're way too polite. Go on, man. Season 1, I'd say, was a very interesting scene. Was when we was in the market. We had that fight scene rolling through. Do you remember?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was in the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
First season.
Oh, you're talking about the first season?
Yeah, favorite first season moments or most challenging scenes?
For us, I think for me and Dougray, it was the prison riot scene.
Prison break, yeah.
The prison break. That was a long couple of hard days with real convicts or ex-convicts and crazy people that actually, I think, really took LSD because they were that fucked up. I'm telling you, it was hilarious. But it was a tough day. It was a tough day for me anyway.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Breaking out of prison. It's a real prison. I mean, not a working prison, but it was a real prison. We didn't actually break out of prison, that's what I'm saying.
We did in the end, didn't we? We just had to get
But I think Tamer has in the past, haven't you?
I have done, a few times back in the day. But that's another film.
Moving on.
You're laughing. I'm being serious.
Can see the headlines now. Thanks, Dougray. Done me again.
It's good.
Creams and lotions.
Well, one question specifically for this audience. All of you have extensive resumes. Do you remember when you first got your acting guild card, what the role was and how it felt to finally have that?
It was that long ago, I can't remember.
Did you mean Screen Actors Guild card?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember coming to LA for the first time and getting a movie as sort of in the first couple of days that I walked off the plane. It was amazing. I was a movie called Deep Impact. I had a tiny little part in that, and that was quite a few years ago. So that was exciting, and got my Screen Actors. I mean, I'd done a couple of movies in the UK, and then did that one. That was my first American gig.
Well, we have some questions submitted by the members here too that I'll read. Do all of you still go on auditions, and did you each audition for the roles on Snatch?
Yeah, I definitely still go on auditions. And I did audition for my role on Snatch. It was sort of it was quite a long process for me, actually, as it was sort of had to fight quite hard for it. There were a lot of, there was sort of slightly, I think there were a lot of mixed opinions about whether I should be cast as Albert in the first place. So it was sort of had to sort of prove my worth a little bit. And so it was it was one of those jobs I really, really wanted to get as well. Even when I first heard, I was a huge fan of the movie, and when I heard that they were making it into a series, I was on the phone to my agent straight away, and I sort of tried to get in there early. And so I sort of had a bit of an emotional connection to it. So it's one of those ones. It would have hurt me if I didn't get it, I think. But yeah, rest is history, I suppose. Now.
Mine was a straight offer. Wasn't hard work at all, but yeah, so I'd let you know.
I mean, he based the character on you, didn't he?
I think we all audition for things, and I think we do go in and read for things from time to time. Some things you're given, some things you go in and meet for. It's always good to get in the room, meet the director, to just sometimes push yourself outside the box and get them to see you in a different way. So it's always good. It's a good thing.
I mean, for this, I was offered another character. He offered me Bob Fink. And I read it and I thought it's a really nice character. I said, but I'm really not interested in that character. I'm interested in Vic Hill. And he was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. And then so he turned around and he said, yeah, okay, let's do it. So that was how I came to do it.
And did any of you audition with different mix and match pairs of chemistry reads and other potential casting?
Yeah, Luca got offered my role. And then I think that it just worked out better for you. It was definitely a Hill. So that's kind of an interesting kind of setup.
Yeah, Sony decided that my body was too good to play Billy, so they had to sort of turn it down.
The Italian stallion over here. No, but I was just really happy to be a part of it. So I got told that I didn't get the job, and then I bumped into Luca, and he just said, like, I'd not seen him for a while. I said, I just got this part on Snatch. I was like, cool, what part was it? And then, do you know, like, it was horrible. No, I love Luca, he's a mate, and I've known him for so long, but I couldn't look him in the eye and smile and say, like, really, congratulations, bro. I was sick. I was like, oh, man, okay, cool. And then it just kind of, then I auditioned for his role that he's playing now, and it was kind of a back and forth, but then obviously and I think it just worked out how it worked out, and I'm really happy for that. And I think just the idea that it was taken away from me and then getting it again was a complete blessing.
You know he's never forgiven you, didn't you?
What's that?
And Rupert, did you audition for Charlie?
No, I didn't. I met Alex quite early on, before he'd written it. And yeah, no, I didn't audition. No, but I have done in the past.
What? How old? 9?
Yeah.
Never again.
That was bad. No, you can actually see my audition for that. That's actually, I think it's on YouTube.
And here we are, huh?
Yeah, roll. Yeah, watching that back is terrible. I was wearing like a fake England shirt. I would not have cast me. It was bad. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was great. I was a big fan of the movie Snatch, and I loved how kind of Alex's take on it, and he really understood the kind of dialogue and that world. I thought it was going to be authentic, and it was great.
Would any of you have some advice for acting in a Guy Ritchie style show? Is it any different direction than any of your other projects?
I say that dialogue-wise, it's quite rhythmic.
Talk quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think some of the shots as well, like some of the the pushes and some of the camera moves, you sometimes have to adapt your performance in order to cater for the camera move, in order for the shot to work, the ramps and the speed up, slow down, that sort of stuff. So there's a little bit of that as well, isn't there? You have to sort of you've got to work in tandem with the camera. It's not just all about performance, and the camera will find you. You have to sort of it's a bit of a dance with the camera sometimes. But yeah, it's the first time I've ever had to do that sort of thing. So yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and quite a lot of steady cam as well, which is always interesting. Different for me, but yeah, I usually play a bit more sort of death and trauma and destruction, and it's quite nice to have a bit of fun.
What is the... I'm sorry, Phoebe, did you have something
No, I
to
was
add?
just going to say it was the same for me. It was very different to anything I'd done before. So I really enjoy kind of... I feel like you do have to change the pace a little bit with Snatch. I was used to the same kind of period dramas, and it was actually, in the process, it was one of those tapes I did where I was like, this isn't going to work. I just thought, this isn't my job. And then I got... I put myself on tape again, and then it's that thing where you're like, oh, I can do this. This is mine. And then I got it. But
For any of you, what is the best career advice you've received?
I want to hear Tamer's one.
Best career advice you've ever received?
You really don't want to hear this, do you? No, it doesn't matter, mate. Over to you.
I was going to say, was this to yourself this morning in the mirror? You got this, son. You got this.
You're in. Refuse to lose. Keep going. If that door closes in front of you, go around the back and climb through the window. Just don't let them say no. That's it. You can't kick the front door and go around the back and climb through the window. Hey, I'm here. I'm still here. You didn't get the job. Okay.
Well, as we learned in the pilot, Charlie is single again. Is there room for a new romance for Charlie this season?
Yeah, I think so. I think that
I think
towards
he's
the
got
end
things
of
to
the
hate
series,
him, isn't he?
yeah, well,
We had a little
Charlie
bond up,
experiments
didn't we?
quite a lot in this series. Yeah, but there's someone at the end of towards the last few episodes that Charlie kind of has his eye on. So yeah, who knows?
For Albert and Vic, have father and son sort of switched places this season? Or is there a different dynamic
Oh,
this
that's
season?
a dangerous question.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Vic is, as you'd expect him to be the patriarch of the family, but he's actually the child. Once he's in Spain, it's been his dream for 15 years to take the family to Spain, and now he's here, even though he hasn't got any money. He's having a fantastic time with his mate, hate him, and he's out and about, and he's dancing, and he's drinking, and he's thinking about what they can steal next, and, he's a fox, got to catch his chickens. So, and Albert's his dad, really, telling him off all the time, saying you've got to behave yourself.
Yeah, it's true. Albert's slightly more paternal towards Vic than Vic is towards Albert at this moment in time, this series. But it's, sort of as soon as Albert tries to get anything that we're talking about going straight, as soon as Albert sort of gets things slightly back on track, there's always sort of Vic to sort of derail it again a little bit, isn't there, sometimes?
But Lily's the real,
she's
leader of the family.
100%.
That's
Yeah, she's the boss.
100%.
I think.
Yeah, and that does at some point in the future become a pretty tricky time for Vic, because Albert and Lily are seriously considering what to do with him to make him behave. So there's quite a lot to watch out for there.
Did you see that? She started to scare us now. I just felt...
Nothing gets past Lily. Nothing gets done without her say so.
Well, Snatch is such a stylish show. For all of you, how much does the wardrobe and costume inform your characters?
I brought my own wardrobe.
About trust, Tamer. It's about trust.
Seriously, I did. I brought my own wardrobe. Alex Wright, he said, listen, they're really struggling trying to dress you. And he sent me some pictures of it. He said, can you bring some of your own stuff? I said, I'll do my best. We ended up using it all.
Four suitcases later.
Yeah, 6 suitcases later. There you go.
Because you've got such skinny legs.
I've got no legs. Look, matchstick legs.
That costume was amazing. I thought they were phenomenal. They dressed us really well. Great style and made the characters look fantastic, I think.
For Lottie, series 1 was very much, she was kind of doing the blacks and the biker boots, and then season 2, she's in Spain. I think it really reflects her kind of, she's free from this awful man that she left behind, and she's got a new start. And I think the costume, I really wanted it to be really fun.
You're single in the.
Oh yeah, and she's single, so.
Hold on.
No, you weren't the
but
man.
I mean
you weren't the man.
I mean
the other man.
Okay, cool.
the
The other
old
one. The other one that she left behind.
The other one, and she leaves behind you as well.
Yeah, I got left in the dust, left in the dirt. But no, it's amazing as well, because I kind of gone on a dark little turn, and the costume designers kind of shadowed that with my dark little journey I ended up going on. And yeah, I think as well, just bring it into the light of being in Spain. It's fun. It's a little bit more vibrant as opposed to the dark east ends of London. I think it really adds to it. And the music's popping as well. The soundtracks are amazing.
It's nice not to have so many layers for the Manchester cold.
Yeah.
There's a freedom, there's a lightness, there's a fun, I think, to most people's costumes in the
I was
series
wearing
too.
3-piece suits.
Oh, yeah, apart from Rupert.
I think I did get someone say that I look like Elton John.
Yeah, I took a picture
on my
says Elton
Instagram.
John in the back.
Blue suits. It was good. It's good. I think costume is a really important thing that you can really use it. Because as much as there is, that you can kind of really kind of hide behind it, and yeah, it's quite a useful tool.
Does having pulled off a successful heist in the first season make the gang better equipped to handle this heist the second season, or are they in deep over their heads again?
Does it make them better? They're already seasoned, the Hill family. I don't think it makes them any better. It just makes them smarter and wiser. And I think every heist or robbery that the Hill family go into, it's just another setup. It's just another way of Vic's character trying to maneuver through how we're going to do it with the help of his young son Albert. But I don't think we get better. I just think we get smarter.
Lily becomes much more involved in the heists as we go on. In the first series, she's very much never gets her hands dirty. In the second series, she becomes far more involved, which is more interesting for her character development, I think.
And I said the heists are always heists are super personal. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not just heisting something for the sake of something. It's it becomes personal. Yeah, that's where the kind of we all kind of band together, I think.
I don't think Lottie had a clue what she was doing. I think what I love about the first few episodes and Lily and Lottie being locked up together is that Lottie learns a lot from Lily. I think she's been blagging it, and she learns how to pick a lock. And yeah.
As long as we keep Vic tied up and shut him up, then we're going to be okay.
Well, with the show moving to Spain, do you as actors always have to be adaptable to wherever the location your project is going to shoot in?
Yeah, we're traveling gypsies, aren't we?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way as well. I think for myself, it's been one of the most amazing ways to travel the world, and not just to dip into for a few days and say, yeah, I've been to that place, but to really kind of get a real essence and feel it for a few months, and kind of have your local supermarket, your local store, where as opposed to you're on your jollies, you're on holiday. Yeah, so it's an amazing blessing to be able to travel. And yeah, it's a long time to be away sometimes, but especially for people with families. But I love it personally. It's part of me now, I think, as well. Try and hold me down.
I think for season 2 as well. With season 1, we were shooting in Manchester. We were shooting for East London, so in Manchester for East London. But season 2, we're shooting in Spain for Spain. So just knowing that our backdrop was true to the show as well was was nice. We didn't have to sort of cheat and try and make it look like somewhere else or whatnot. So I think that was a huge help for us as well, wasn't it?
Well, this is probably going to be the last question we have time for, but did each of you come up with a backstory for your characters before the show begins, either through talking with Alex or on your own?
A lot of Albert's backstory is kind of explained in the show in season 1. In episode 1, there's like the flashback when Vic gets arrested and Albert's just a young boy. So a lot of that's sort of explained, but it's always nice to sort of explore things that haven't been written down on the page. So it's nice to be able to have a little bit of freedom as well and a bit of creative license to sort of explore different avenues with it that aren't haven't actually been put on paper.
You never really hear about Lottie's backstory, but in season 2 we looked into it a bit more because you see her growth and she's got some time with Lily to talk about things. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to explore Lottie a little bit more in that sense.
And the backstory as an actor, that's what keeps you grounded and helps you through the story, even though it might not be very obvious to anyone else what your backstory is. And you have it for yourself, so your character's three-dimensional and kind of rooted. You got to have it. In it. Is it? In it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Delving into that world of thievery. I looked at a lot of documentaries, which is a lot of documentaries about gangsters in East End of London. So I just find it fascinating. I'm curious about other people's lives, and it's a great opportunity to find out about it. Spoke to Tamer a lot as well.
Yeah, I helped Vic quite a lot. I helped Dougray's character quite a lot.
He did.
Yeah, I did.
He did.
I know.
In fact, I spoke to some of your. Yeah.
Yes. So he come over to Mayfair.
Uncle Dennis.
I said, Uncle Dennis. He said, what's the matter? I said, Dougray Scott. Hello, Dougray. How can I help you, son? He wants to know how to rob a bank, Dennis. Okay, come over here. Let's talk over there away from prying ears. He went like this. And then they was gone for about an hour, and then Dougray came back fully fledged gangster, which was great.
Well, yeah, that was very helpful.
It was helpful.
Yeah, there are little bits like that help your character, because you can use it. You can, talk to Alex, and he'll maybe put it in at some point in the scripts. Just little things that have happened, and techniques that seasoned bank robbers use in their line of work. I find it fascinating. Anyway.
How did he actually rob that bank? He's never told me that story, Dougray.
It was a Securicore van.
It was, yes. Thamesmead.
Allegedly.
1993.
Well, thank you for being here tonight and talking to us. And ladies and gentlemen, the cast of Snatch.